Today I'll show you a simple and aggressive way to play against the Scandinavian defense, where you can crush your opponent quickly in all the main lines. By the way, Scandinavian is extremely popular on amateur level. Here, after an exchange in the middle of the board, you hit the queen, and from here there are three main choices that your opponents will choose from. Beginners often play queen to e6 because it's tempting to check your king. Queen a5 is the main move, and I have my special sauce against that. You're gonna love that. Finally, the most popular move is surprisingly moving the queen back to d8, which is passive but feels simple and secure. Let's kick it off with what you see on lower rating levels, queen e6 check. Of course, you just cover your king and then they typically play knight to c6. At this point, of course, it is very easy for you to just play normal, simple moves and continue your development. Knight f3, castle. Nothing wrong with that, but our goal is to crush your opponent. And I'll show you the plan that does just that. You start with the move pawn to d4, and it's not just a pawn move, it is a threat. You want to push the pawn forward with a double attack to his queen and knight. Therefore, black really needs to do something against that. And usually they go queen g6. They continue this queen journey, hitting this pawn on g2. And while it looks scary to allow that, this is exactly what you gotta do. Again, most players would be defensive and would protect this pawn, but instead you will counterattack because offense is the best defense. Here knight c7 threatens this pawn. And your opponent tries to do the same. So what is he going to do now? Well, for many of your opponents, it might feel like the grass is whiter on the other side, but in fact, if they capture this pawn and attack this rook, it only looks scary, but it isn't in reality, because you have this move bishop to f3, which keeps everything under control. It attacks the queen, it also X-ray defends the rook, and now the queen is pushed all the way back. Your minor pieces control all these squares around, therefore the queen has to go all the way back to g6. Which means that black just captured one pawn while also wasted time going back and forth, while your knight takes c7 is a real deal. You grab a pawn, you force the king to move, and you win the rook and get a winning game. If instead black decides to protect his weakness, it's actually not easy to do that as he doesn't have any pieces available to do that, and the only thing to control that square c7 is to move the king. And of course now the king is vulnerable, but on top of that, you can just add one more attacker, and now black is completely defenseless. In most cases, they go e5, trying to block this diagonal, but now you capture the pawn, and do you see the trick here? You see what's happening? Actually, you're not just capturing the pawn. It opens up this file, which means that it is a sudden discover check. And now the position of the black king across this open file is extremely vulnerable. I mean, if necessary, you can also play queen d2, castle queenside, which will also add the rook to the same open file. Therefore, keeping the king there is certainly very dangerous. But if not, what can black do? They don't really want to go king e8 because then it will go right back into this fork, right? So here you're winning. And if instead the king steps aside to e7, then you still capture this pawn, hitting the rook. And after rook to b8, it feels like the position is complicated, but you have a winning knockout blow here, bishop g5. That sacrifices the bishop, and whether black captures it or plays f6, in both cases, black will lose the control of this vital square d6, and you finish the game. Moving on to the main line, queen to a5, and this one is a lot trickier. Before I show you the right plan, let me show you what your opponent is hoping for. If you just play casual developing moves, at some point your opponent will pin your knight, which is the first a bit annoying thing to deal with, and after that black has a bunch of tricks. For example, they can castle queenside, putting pressure to your central pawn, and then they can suddenly play pawn to e5, and it turns out that you are under this massive pressure. Your pawn is pinned down to your queen, and actually you're already in trouble here. And here's the issue with the Scandinavian defense. Main lines are complex and tricky. Even as a grandmaster, I never felt like studying them. And also, usually your opponent knows it much better than you are because he plays this opening. Therefore, I came up with another system. First off, we do not develop this knight to f3 at all, so that you never have to deal with this pin on this knight. Alright? You just develop the bishop first. After that, there is another interesting thing. You don't move this pawn to d4 because we know that here sometimes this pawn can be attacked. And instead you just put the pawn to d3. Now, it looks a little bit modest, but in fact it's super tricky. I'll show you in a second. In most cases, at some point, your opponents will bring the bishop out to g4 because that's what they always do in the Scandinavian, and it feels uncomfortable, feels like they're attacking your queen. Now, spoiler, it is a step in the wrong direction for black against this system, but your opponents aren't aware of that. You play pawn to f3 to block the diagonal. Again, you don't develop the knight so that you don't have to deal with that pin. They retreat the bishop to h5. And now you go bishop d2. That unpins your knight, so that, this queen no longer threatens you, but it is now the other way around. Potentially your bishop can hit this queen. Of course, it's a secondary idea. Mainly, you just want to play queen e2 and castle queenside. That is why you want to develop those pieces of the queenside, your queen and bishop. Alright, now they'll play c6, again the usual maneuver of the Scandi. This pawn controls a bunch of squares and also prepares a retreat of the queen back to c7, back to safety. You go queen e2, which gets you one step closer to castling queenside, and also your queen is active here along the e-file. And what's funny is that computer basically says that this position is already winning for white. That's how tricky this opening system is, because your opponents don't understand it yet, but you have a super unusual and very powerful attacking plan here. Initially, it seemed like you play f3 just to block this bishop from attacking your queen. But in reality, it also prepares your expansion on the king side, where you start using this bishop as an object of an attack, of your attack. Alright? Now g4 kicks the bishop back, and then you keep pressing with pawn to f4. That looks a bit overly optimistic to overextend your pawns that much, but we don't worry about your king side, as your king is going to go in the other direction where it's perfectly safe. Therefore, pushing these pawns on the king side is no problem. Now f5 threatens to capture the bishop. What can black do? By the way, e6 does not really help, because after f5, his pawn is actually pinned down to the king. Therefore, he cannot take your pawn, because the pawn is pinned. And it means that this bishop is trapped, this pawn is attacked, and it's just bad for black. Let's say black instead plays pawn h6, providing an escape square for the bishop. You still play pawn f5, because now the bishop is totally imprisoned. You see, it has no way out. And then you've got knight b5, another little tactical trick along the way. Your position was absolutely superior regardless, but knight b5 just finishes the game, because that opens up this discovered attack of the queen. And if the queen moves anywhere, the most played move by black is queen d8, that leads to knight to d6. And at this point you may be thinking, Igor, people who play the Scandinavian defense know that they need to retreat the queen back to c7, back to safety, to avoid all kinds of discovered attacks here. Sure, but that doesn't really help, because your main attacking plan is pawn g4, kicking the bishop, and then pawn f4, and you achieve a winning position already. Again, the beauty of this system is that all usual moves of black in the Scandinavian defense are just dead wrong against this particular system. Alright, let's say they're going pawn h5, trying to attack this pawn on g4 and provide an escape square for the bishop. What do you do here? The good move is pawn f5. You counter strike and you hit the bishop. The bishop goes back. That's already an accomplishment for you, once again, because now this bishop is locked right there, and overall, this whole king side is cramped. Very hard for black to continue his development. But on top of that, now, instead of reacting to this attack, you can push the pawn forward and keep attacking. In fact, this only made it worse for black. They'll probably do something like knight to g4, because pawn is saved is pawn earned, but then you've got another unpleasant surprise. Bishop takes f7. Totally exposes the black king, and it's not really a sacrifice, because you can get it back right on the next move. And now the king is absolutely exposed. It's very easy for you to attack it. Let's say like captures, the king is still in check. If the king comes back, by the way, there is queen e6 checkmate, mate in 1. If the king captures, still queen e6. Alright, the king tries to hide, but now knight to f3, and knight enters the stage threatening mate in 1. Knight g5 is a sudden checkmate. Let's say black tries to keep escaping with the king, but now after this check, here follows queen to g6, threatening mate in 1, or maybe also queen takes h5, and now there was a game where black played queen a5 check, but white can easily cover. Now the main threat is still the same, queen to h7, black went knight to f6 to cover this square, and in the actual game, white played knight f7, mate in 1, which in my view actually is wrong. Because if you've been a part of the Igor Nation, you know that sometimes we do wild stuff here. Instead of that, you can play queen h7. Your opponent thinks that you just overlooked that there is his knight there. He happily grabs the queen, thinking that he's winning, but here comes a nightmare. Congratulations, we got the third and final option left for black, queen d8, the most played move. It looks plain and dry at first, but trust me, we'll spice it up very quickly. Initially, you develop playing these normal moves, and then they play bishop g4, pinning your knight. As always, it's one of the main questions. How do you deal with this pin? You're gonna deal with it in the most brutal way possible. You're sacrificing your queen for glory. But what if instead of pinning your knight, your opponent simply develops? Then you play d4 grab in the center. you're ahead in development, but then it's still tempting for black to go bishop g4, because in this case it looks totally reasonable. It pins your knight, those knight e5 tricks no longer work because he's got his own knight controlling the square, he can simply capture it, and that would be a blunder for white. And in this case, since your knight is pinned, attacked, this pawn on d4 is under pressure, that is something closer to what black hopes to achieve in the Scandinavian defense. And most white players would play some defensive move here, but you instead are gonna play the most aggressive move, pawn d5, with a counter strike. Now, moving this knight to the edge is just passive and bad, and black may wish to become more aggressive with going knight to e5. That capitalizes on the bishop pinning your knight, and black creates some threats. But instead of retreating, once again we're gonna burn the bridges and sacrifice the queen. Initially, it's not easy to see what you're trying to achieve here, but then there is bishop b5. It's actually quite a unique tactical idea where there is no immediate victory for you, but there is also no defense for black. Your bishop and knight are doing a great job controlling all these squares, and black can't cover his king normally. After c6, you just capture it, and now your bishop is still here, standing in an ambush, getting ready to play c7 check or pawn takes b7 check because of these discovered checks. And black is defenseless. After whatever they do, let's say they capture, you just recapture with a check, and within the next moves, black will have to give up their queen. And then you end up with an extra knight, pawn, and easily winning position. At this point, your opponent no longer dares to attack you. All he wants is to run and hide, just to somehow complete the development and not being destroyed. Now, of course, that makes a very comfortable situation for you, where you have more space, greater activity. You could simply castle queenside. By the way, I love it slightly more than castling kingside, because when you castle queenside, you also have that easy attacking plan for the middle game, all right? And here, you could just castle with an absolutely great position, but h4 is even trickier. For your opponent, it already feels unpleasant, and they'll often wish to get rid of that annoying bishop on g5. Your opponent hopes for you to just trade it off on f6, but you instead sacrifice the bishop to expose his king and to launch this deadly attack. You have a bunch of attacking ideas, maybe even this rook lift with a checkmate, or maybe just to throw your knight out there. And if black tries to consolidate or somehow bring in more defenders, you go knight g5 anyway, threatening queen takes h7 checkmate, but if black captures on g5 with either a knight or a bishop, that helps you to open up the h-file for your rook, and on the next turn, you'll quickly checkmate black. And just a quick reminder that today is the final day of my New Year offer on individual courses. If you want to work on specific weaknesses in your game, whether it's blunders or strategy or endgames, this is a good moment to do it. All individual courses come with special New Year pricing, and there is also buy one get one option available, but the offer ends tonight and links are below. Alright, thanks for watching and keep crushing it.